1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Welcome to Maths Brother, a show for all you matriculants. Take your pen and papers out, activate your maths brains, and join me as I'll be solving maths problems. So before you do that, I want you to go out and tell everybody that you found a maths brother that goes across the universe, finds maths problems, brings them here, and breaks them down into maths solutions right in your face. That has to be amazing. We dug up this problem from last year's matric paper. This problem actually comes from a section called Sequence and Series. I'm sure you guys are really familiar with this topic. If you're not, I am literally going to be worried. Your maths brother is not going to be happy. So I'm going to read it out loud for you guys. We're going to try to sit down and break it down together and actually understand what they're asking us here. So we have the first question here that you'll see on the screen. It says, given the arithmetic series, which is 18 plus 24 plus 30, ... plus 300. What are they asking us? They're asking us, determine the number of terms in this series. Okay, take a seat back. Ask yourself, what are they really asking me here? They want you to actually determine the number of terms. The number of terms being the numbers that occur in that series. What is a series, guys? A series is basically an addition of numbers in a sequence. What is a sequence? A sequence is numbers that are in an ordered list. So you have a situation here that shows a numbers occurring in a series, which in this case is a sequence, because you see the sequence being 18, 24 plus 30. So there's an order that you actually see occurring. So we need to find all the numbers that occur in this addition. So I'm going to sit back and be like, okay, something in my mind tells me that there's a formula that helps me with these type of problems. I know in your class, your teachers dealt with this, and I'm just going to come out here and show you that what you've been taught at school actually is so useful. So the first problem, we're going to be bringing back that theory that you learned in arithmetic series or arithmetic sequence, guys. In this case, you have a general formula that you have to bring up. That helps you to find the number of or the position of every term in the sequence. So in this case, we're going to write it down on the board and look at it. So the general formula for an arithmetic series, or in this case, an arithmetic sequence, is Tn is equals to A plus N, well, there's a bracket, minus 1 bracket D. So you need to ask yourself, okay, what are these letters? What are they standing for? We know that in most cases, when you have an A, it means that it stands for the first term in the sequence. And your N is the position of any term that you find in the sequence. And of course, your D will be your difference that occurs in the sequence. So how do we find these things? I'll remind you, your theory basically says your D will always be the difference of successive terms. So your D will be, in this case, T2 minus T1, which will be equals to T3 minus T2. And what does that give you in this case? We have 24 minus 18 will be equals to 30 minus 24. And that will give us the same. The left-hand side must be equals to the right-hand side. And it should give you a 6. So now we have a D. We need to find, well, the A term is actually given. The A is the first term. Remember that, guys. So we just write down everything that we're given. So we have Tn is equals to the first term being given to you is 18 plus N minus 1 multiplied by 6. So you are halfway there, basically. All you need to do right now is reduce the sum into, what do they call it? They just call it in its simplest form. So you will have 18, expand this bracket, 6n minus 6, and that will give you 18 minus 6 is actually 12. I'm sure you guys were like thinking, what am I doing? So it's 12 plus 6n. So in this case, what do you have? You have a situation that tells you the 10th term is equals to 12n plus 6n. Now we need to know, where are we? We're in a point where we need to find the position of the last term that is given in that series that occurs in your past paper, guys. We need to find that position. That position helps us determine how many terms there are. Because if the last term is here, if you have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last term is in the 4th position, how many terms are here? You have 4 terms, right? Because the last term is the 4th position. So we need to find what position is the last term. So what is the last term? The last term is actually equals to 300. So now you have an equation with one unknown, one equation. It's pretty simple, plug and play. You just go straight into your math and we'll find n, doing the calculations, we'll find n to be actually 48. Okay, moving on to our next question. It says here, calculate the sum of this series. So now they're asking us to determine the sum. Sum means addition of numbers. So they want us to add all the numbers that are occurring in that series. So in most cases, like the idea is just to add. Basic addition, but we don't have ideal numbers to add. That is why they've created formulas that are very helpful in helping us just plug and find the answers. So in this case, we know that the sum of an arithmetic series has a formula. And I'm going to pull it out for you guys because I know you remember it from your classes. It's Sn, which means the sum of nth terms is n over 2. This is a 2, guys. Bracket. Then you have your first term, which is an a, plus L. You see that? So now what is your A again? Remember what I said in the previous example, in the previous question, your A is your first term. In most cases, until they let you know, or unless they let you know that there's an exception. So in most cases, your A will always be the first term. And here your L is your last term. I know what you guys are thinking. There is an alternative formula. But in this case, this formula makes everything pretty easy for us. So what do we have? We need to find the sum of 48 terms. Remember, we did that. There's 48 terms in the series. The sum of 48 terms. And what is our n here? Our n will be 48 over 2. Then it's bracket. The first term that we have in the series, remember guys, is 18. Then we add 300. Now it's just plug and play. Everything is simple. You see, if you understand what the formula actually means, if you understand all the components that make up your formula, then you really find it easy to find the answer. Everything else is just calculations. So what do you have? You have 24 multiplied by 318. And that would give you 7,632. That was Maths Brother for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys learned valuable lessons that you can apply in your tests and exams and in your real life. Remember, maths doesn't end in the classroom. It's a Maths Brother signing out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.